you said that there's some over-the-top drama right now in cosplay, correct?
What?
Yeah, there's been like this whole thing going on. A few issues, but I'll start with the whole like transatlantic trade agreement that was happening
Okay.
last year, and a lot of people in the cosplay community they didn't really pay too much attention to it because they're like, oh, that's something that doesn't apply to us. Well, finally, something within politics actually applied to us because the fine line of that particular issue would make it, as far as like intellectual property wise, it would pretty much make it impossible for cosplayers to be cosplayers as well as costumers and commissioners and artists in the artist alley, because that would mean even if a company, say like, I don't know, Toei, right, even if they didn't have a problem with a person doing fan art of their particular characters, someone could sue the artist on their behalf just based off of principle, legality wise, and make it so that that person has to pay fines and legal fees for doing fan art and selling it at a convention or anywhere. That would also apply to people who were commissioners doing costume replicas. Same situation. And as a cosplayer, for me, the last thing me and anybody would want is for someone to want to throw us in jail or sue us because we are literally walking advertisement for your product. And that's a big reason why most companies have not bothered, because they get it. They understand. But with this particular legislation, it's that no one doesn't have to really act on their own. Somebody else can just do it. That puts us in like this very precarious like area right now. So
You know
like,
what will quash that though? Let somebody get sued one good time, a cosplayer, and everyone stops cosplaying. So whenever Comic Con comes out, you just see the sea of normies in regular clothes, and no one's advertising anything, and no one has any buzz for any film whatsoever. Let Warner Brothers or Fox or anyone that has any type of intellectual property that's out there right now lose X amount of money for that. They'll take it back. They'll be sorry.
no, I know.
They'll take it back and they'll
I
probably
feel
be like, you know,
that's
guys,
the
stop.
first person who does it though, because like the main headliners in the community that have like their sponsorships from like Marvel and DC and like BlizzCon and stuff, they're protected. They're cosplaying characters that are actually intellectual property of these companies. The For me right now, the safest thing that I do, and I've already done it anyway, was I have my own original characters. So as a cosplayer, I can still cosplay without that worry of legality. But sometimes you want to cosplay a character that everybody knows, and a lot of people do, especially when, like, for example, the Deadpool movie coming out and stuff like that. People get hyped up. As you say, we're walking advertisements. So it hasn't happened so much here in America yet, but if this whole stuff goes through and people want to like jump on these patents and these copyright issues, it's going to be a problem eventually. And I feel bad for when it does.
Well, can I say for me, I produce comic books. I have my own characters. I'm waiting for the day for people to roll in as the Vex characters. That'd be an honor to me. I mean, that to me, seeing the cosplayers come in, that just, the work that goes into it, the dedication, it just livens up the atmosphere. Again, that'd be an honor for anyone to dress up as my characters. And I couldn't, why would you want to sue anyone for doing that? It's part of the game. It's part of the game.
You'd be surprised.
When did this start, Geisha? I'm only asking when this started because I don't know if Seven remembers, but when we had Glenn Fleming and Alan Schumer on, when we talked about the Kirby copyright case, I brought this up. I said, watch this be the next thing. So,
What's going on?
he predicted this like 2 years ago.
Yeah, this is early last year kind of thing when it started to like the news venturing into the community about like legality happened. And it started with a Star Wars fan art artist. That was where like the first like legal touching issue had come on because they wanted to get on him for Star Wars content.
Yeah,
someone at Disney, yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, exactly.
At Disney, of course.
Fine when I'm talking about the copyright case against Kirby. They announced it, and Seven and I, we talked about it, and I brought this up. I said, watch this be the next thing.
Yeah, I know.
And that's the dumbest, because why did it just go after Halloween when you're all getting dressed up?
No, it's true.
Go after people on
what's
Halloween now,
crazy
too, when they dress
scary
up
is Japan.
Charles, if it's your con this year, I'll show up as one of your cats. I'll come and cosplay.
This is why I usually ask the artist permission first. But yeah, one of my friends, he went to Japan 2 years ago, and he was dressed up. This is right before the latest Dragon Ball Z, like Battle of the Gods movie came out. So he dressed up as, I guess it was Anubis, the purple, canine looking one. And his prosthetics were on point. Like, he literally looked like he just stepped off the pages of the manga and boom, into reality. He was by the Tokyo Tower and, doing his thing, just standing, walking around in his outfit. He actually was accosted by businessmen who took him and detained him in Tokyo Tower to interrogate him and asked him to please remove his cosplay because the film did not come out yet. And they were extremely worried about copyright and advertising and all this craziness. And they weren't police. They were literally people from the company, like in suits.
That's free. See, that's dumb. That's the dumbest thing in the world. Free advertisement, bro. He was doing the work for you guys for free. Like,
it was crazy.
Anyone who didn't know who his character was that hit him out on the street before the movie came out, hey, who are you supposed to be? I'm a character from this movie that's coming out.
Exactly. But that particular company didn't see it that way. And it's interesting for Japan to do something like that back at that point because they have Comic-Con. And Comic-Con is the convention that has literally everything from every genre possible known to mankind and then some. So I'm very surprised that they would take it to that level. But the beginning of like this inevitable thing happening, and I was telling people, like, we didn't think it would ever happen, but it happened to one of us. It only starts with one. So start getting into politics, at least catching up on policies, because this type of stuff will affect us in the end, and then we can't do anything afterwards.
I always ruin the fun. Man.
Yeah, I would just ruin everything.
Wow.